Welcome to Are You Quizzing Me? I am Vineet Nair with my co-host Aditya Kashyap. This is a quizzing trivia podcast show. Join us as we dive deep into history, science, pop culture, and so much more. Let's get quizzing. And we're back for episode number 90. Aditya and I are back for another round of quizzing. But today we have a little surprise for you, a guest. It is the one, the only, the great Berty Ashley.
Ooh.
Now, if you're yourself who Berty Ashley is, go live under a rock. That's my answer to you.
Why are we shitting on our audience, Vineet? If you don't know who Berty Ashley is, today is your lucky day. You get to meet the great Berty Ashley.
Or at least his voice. So, Berty Ashley is a musician extraordinaire, a molecular biologist, and as if that wasn't enough, he's also a quizmaster, author, and by the way, quizmaster is, I think it's a little too small a word to use for him. He has worked on KBC, Kaun Banega Crorepati, India's version of Are You Going to Be a Millionaire? Are You Ready to Be a Millionaire? What's the name of the show?
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Are you going to be a millionaire? It sounds like an existential question.
And who cares? KBCs are much better anyway. So he's worked on KBC. And if you are one of those many people in India who read the Hindu newspaper, every Sunday, 10 questions come to you courtesy of Berty Ashley. It's the Hindu Sunday quiz. As you can imagine from my introduction, horrible as it is, he is the exact opposite of that. He's a very nice guy. And overall, he has agreed to be on our tiny little podcast. Welcome, Berty Ashley.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure and an honor. Thank you guys for inviting me. And on episode 90, nice, very nice. I'm glad I got in here before you hit the big 1 ton. But thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
We are stoked to have you, Berty. And before I start, I have to give a huge shout out to Swaroop for this. Because Swaroop mentioned that we should get Berty on. And I told him that, yeah, Vineet and I have spoken about this very early on. In fact, when we were starting off the podcast, we spoke about how we want to get Berty and people like him. Berty was literally our benchmark, our prototype of the kind of guests we want. And we've been lucky, we've had great guests, but we haven't had the prototype yet. So that's a big day for us.
Yeah.
And Swaroop, everybody, huge shout out to Swaroop. If you know him or if you don't know him, just send out good thoughts and vibes to him, because he reached out to Berty and he told him about this podcast. And he's like, why don't you connect with these guys? And he became the mediator in some way. So thank you, Swaroop, so much for making this happen.
It wasn't as smooth as that, because there were a lot of caps lock involved. You have to see this podcast. You have to be on it. And I was like, bro, yeah, done. I mean, you had it at high. You have to come to a podcast.
Yeah. And Swaroop doesn't even know Berty directly. He just reached out on behalf of the podcast. So I think that is just one of the nicest things anybody's ever done. Thank you, Swaroop.
I'm like, you said the word quiz. I'm in. That's it. Done.
So let's start off today's episode with our regular audience question. This is a question I ask at the beginning of every episode and the answer to which I reveal at the end of it. My dear audience, today's question is one of the shortest I've ever asked as an audience question. Which is the largest toy distributor in the world? Let me repeat the question. Which is the largest toy distributor in the world? I will reveal the answer to this question at the end of today's episode. As with all our guest quizmaster episodes, the honor of the first question goes to our guest quizmaster. Berty, take the baton.
Thank you very much. I know you guys do a lot of research. I conveniently did not, because I was doing a live gig yesterday in hometown. So God had a busy day. But I usually spend my Mondays listening to music. And today was my vinyl day, and I just listened to a vinyl. It's one of my favorite albums of all time. So I want to ask you a question from that.
Okay.
This is an album called The Planets, and it was released by English composer called Gustav Holst, Holst. Now, the thing is, before that, all the great composers, Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, Brandenburg, they all wrote songs about either royalty or about God, because the church and the royals were the only ones who could pay them money. Gustav Holst comes along and is like, bro, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do my own thing. And he decides to write an album about the astrological characters of the planets of the solar system. And I absolutely love it, because he writes a piece called Venus, which has this lovely feminine quality in it. Then obviously he writes a piece called Mars, which has this very, very masculine effort in it. Fun fact for you, fun fact within a question. It starts off with the same notes that eventually our man John Williams used as Darth Vader's theme for Star Wars, and also the same notes that started Black Sabbath, the heavy metal song from the very first heavy metal band Black Sabbath. So they can see the effect of Mars. And then obviously he had Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune. Now, I've said 7 names. So your questions of 2 parts. First part is, what are the 2 entities that are missing from this? And 2, what are the reasons that these 2 entities are missing from this list?
So I'm going to guess the first one to be Pluto.
Okay. Aditya?
Earth. So we are missing Earth. Earth and Pluto.
Very nice. So half points to Aditya and half points to Doc for getting Pluto and Earth. Now, tell me, what are the reasons that these two have?
This is 1910s.
Oh, yeah. So Gustav Holst recorded this and released in 1918.
Okay. Considering that this was recorded in the 1910s, I don't think Pluto was discovered at that point.
And you get points for that. Clyde Tombaugh discovered Pluto in 1930. So genuinely, an actual album about the planets came into existence before we know about the existence of Pluto.
Oh.
Aditya, do you want to know why Earth is not on the list?
My guess would have been because of the fact that you said it's astrological. And as earthly beings, we let every other planet decide our fate except our own, which is ridiculous, honestly, because so much of our fate is dependent on Earth and how we maintain it. But
Yeah, you are on Earth, you are fated. That's it. So exactly. So it's a terrestrial object and not an astrological object. That's why Gustav Holst said no to Earth. But guys, go listen to the album. It's brilliant. Every single composer that you know, from James Horner to Williams and everybody, pay homage to the planets because he was the first one to showcase that using instrumental music, you can bring out emotions and you can talk about emotions. And my favorite track is Jupiter, the bringer of jollity. And I can assure you, all of your listeners, if they listen to it, you cannot help but smile when the second movement finishes. It's just one of those songs that genuinely brings you jollity.
we have a pop culture recommendation already. Wow, what a great start. I love it.
Exactly. Yeah. This is already done. We've got one part of the show already set and done. So I'm going to take the baton, as I usually say myself, and move from music to a part of pop culture. This is one of my long-winded, indulgent questions, so please indulge me. X is a village in the state of Goa. X is also the name of the main antagonist in a 2023 gothic horror drama series. Let's call this series A for the moment. However, there is no connection between the village and the series, right? It's just a coincidence that they both share a name. In the show, X was named as such because X is actually an anagram of Y. In the show, the character X can shapeshift into Y. Y is also considered the universal symbol or depiction of the author on whose work the show A was based. So let's call the author Z, which is A, the show, X, the name of the village in Goa, and also the name of the antagonist in the drama series. And what's the name of the object into which X can shapeshift, of which also X is an anagram, and whose on whose work is the show based?
Okay. Now you said shapeshift into an object, so not into an animal.
No. I maybe misspoke. It is an animal. It can shapeshift. Yeah, like an animagus, but in a much more villainous way.
Oh, villainous way. Okay, and you said an author who's usually depicted.
Yeah, this is like the kind of symbol of that author. Very few authors are depicted by a symbol, so that should.
Yeah, so I know only of one author who has an animal which is follows him all around.
Okay.
And also you said gothic, and that's the reason my brain went there.
Okay.
Yeah, so the trivia being the writer of the world's first detective fiction novel,
Yes.
Edgar Allan Poe,
Yeah.
and then the Raven. So
Yes.
I've got that bit.
Very good.
Wow, that was very impressive.
Now we have to figure out an anagram of Raven.
Yes. Which is also the name of a village in Goa.
Vare, Arvin, Anwar, Virana,
Oh, very close.
Vindra. Come on, Aditya.
Verna?
Verna. Very good. Verna.
Hey, that's a Hyundai car. What is
Yeah,
this?
I know. I'm not going to tell you the name of the car, right? It's better to go to obscure village that nobody knows. I mean, like, I'm very sorry to all people in Goa. Verna is a very popular place there. There's an even industrial estate over there. It's a huge thing. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, you've got Verna, you've got Raven, you've got Edgar Allan Poe. So what's the name of the show?
I'll give this out to you, Aditya, since I don't know the answer.
I actually don't know.
2023 Gothic horror show.
Yeah.
Oh, the Raven that refused to sing.
Do Raven sing?
No, this is an absolutely obscure reference to an album by an artist called Stephen Wilson of Porcupine Tree. Probably one or two of your listeners will be like, I know what that is. And this is a shout out to those people.
Real deep cuts happening here. I love it.
Real deep cuts, real deep cuts.
But I don't know the show.
Maybe it'll help if you tell me which network it was on or which platform it was on.
Yeah.
Netflix.
Ooh.
I will give you also one more clue. The clue is Flanagan.
Oh,
Flanagan?
what is that named? Strike a bell.
Yeah.
It's a character from.
No, not a character. It's a showrunner.
Oh, I was going to say something to do with Stranger Things, but I was also thinking character. So I guess I'm not right.
No, Stranger Things is what brothers? It's a very funny name. Stranger Things. The showrunners are a couple of brothers.
The Duffer Brothers. Anyways.
Duffer Brothers, yeah. So, Mike Flanagan. I will tell you some of his other shows, which will probably give you a good idea of which series I'm talking about. The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh.
I know that one.
Fantastic show. Haunting of Bly Manor.
Okay, this show has the name Haunting in it, huh?
No.
I feel like this has the name House. Because I remember there's a show like this. And I remember it has some connection.
Doctor House?
No. Okay, so I'll give it to you. You basically got it. It's The Fall of the House of Usher.
Right.
Usher, as in that rapper.
No, this is the original Usher. Reported this way before Usher. Okay, the actual novel basically reads like there's something going on a deep dark night. A man walks into a house to meet his friend, and the friend kind of tells him the story of what happened to his house, like the people in his house, how each of them kind of died. In the meantime, you can hear sounds in the background. It's a very, very creepy book. You should definitely read it. I always recommend Edgar Allan Poe to anybody who's not read like a proper gothic novel. As Bertie very cleverly worked out, Raven and Verna.
So I didn't work out the Verna one. I did everything else except Verna. It was Aditya who worked out.
Honestly, I feel like you did the heavy lifting on that question. I just came in to put some finishing flourishes, but I will take the credit.
Very nice.
That was a great question, Vineet. And I believe that passes it back to Bertie. Bertie, go with your second question.
So what, don't you have a question in the middle? No. Okay.
We really make our guests do a lot of work. We don't take it easy on our guests.
What's the point of having a guest if we don't get them to ask a lot of questions?
Okay, cool. Okay, so as I told you, I have not done any research at all. So since you brought up ravens,
Okay.
so ravens are extremely smart, and they're from the Corvidae family, the crow family, right? So ravens have this very specific thing, which they have learned over hundreds of years of being an urban bird, is that they are able to pinpoint and spot certain things with uncanny precision. So they know things which other birds don't see. So the Dutch people were like, what can we do with these birds? They were like, okay, we're going to make them as our sustainability ambassadors. So they had a huge issue, which was making the streets dirty and unclean. And it was a habit which people have had for many years. They couldn't stop people from doing something that will keep the streets clean. One dude trained ravens to pick up a certain object from the side of the street and drop it into dustbins or whatever, and they got rewarded. And the best part about a raven is it's very good at passing on information from generation to generation. So all you had to do was teach like 10 ravens, and all of them taught their family, and then they taught. Then there's a whole community of ravens who are doing actual community service.
Oh, wow.
Here's my question. What do the ravens pick up?
I'm guessing chewing gum?
It'll be very tough to pick up chewing gum which is stuck on the side of it. No, see, it's such a huge problem that they had to train animals. Chewing gum is a very rare problem.
Very true. My second guess in that case would be cigarette butts.
There you go. Yes, cigarette butts. And because they have specifically that orange and white thing, he could train them to pick up anything that is small and has an orange and a white bit. And they used to pick up cigarette butts and put it. And because they're so good at this is a great way, community service, and ravens pick up cigarette butts.
Nice.
I just realized Bertie just truly improvised that question. He segued into it without any effort. Like how Vineet and I struggle to find segues into our questions because we have prepared the questions beforehand. Bertie's just winging it, and much in the style of Raven, his keen observation skills are good at picking out trivia. I love it.
This actually reminds me of a piece of trivia I heard recently that in New Zealand, they found that traffic cones, which have been put to the side of the road in of a tunnel, were being kind of rolled over. So when authorities came in the morning, they found that these traffic cones were in a different location, blocking tunnels and whatnot, right? It was very difficult for them to figure out exactly what was going on. And after an investigation, they found that there are these birds, like parrot-like birds called kias, which
Oh
are
yeah.
lived in New Zealand. And these birds had learned by observation that when motorists are stopped at the side of the road and they see the kia, they tend to feed them. And they also noticed that when a orange cone is in front, a car doesn't move. So these were literally dragging these orange cones so that cars would stop and feed them.
Ah, nice. Smart.
Smart birds, man, smart birds. I don't know why people call them bird brain. Like people say bird brained as a derogatory
I
term.
know, as an insult, right? I'm like, thank you.
So, Aditya.
All right. I'm going to describe a person. This has to do with Bertie because you mentioned he's a biologist. So I'm going to talk about somebody from that field. Stephen was born on August 21st, 1961 in the United States. His father was a draftsman and designer in the aerospace industry. And he used to live in California. At a very young age, he developed a passion for sea life. And when films by Jacques Cousteau, a French oceanographer, made a strong impression on him. Stephen has said that Cousteau provided a view into the world which he had not known existed. As he grew older, he also started diving and snorkeling, and that further deepened his interest in the marine life. As you can see where this question is going, he became a marine biologist eventually, because that's the field that he was deeply and keenly interested in. During a few summers, actually, after finishing high school and before going for college, where he did study marine biology, he also worked at a fast food seafood restaurant in Maine. He went to the Humboldt State University in Arcata, California, as a marine science major. However, Stephen is more famous for something in pop culture. What is Stephen famous for?
Okay, before you go any further, I love this dude, and I use him in all my university talks and colleges.
Oh man!
Right, so I'm not going to try the answer. So I'm just going to sit it out.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going to wait for Vineet. And once Vineet gets it, we have a song to sing.
Oh. Okay, so I think this must be a member of Queen.
Oh no, Dr. Brian May is a physicist.
Brian May is a physicist. Okay, yeah.
Also, wasn't he British, I believe?
Yeah, Brian May is British. Oh, you said this is an American,
Yeah,
right?
in California, that's where he developed his.
Oh, wait, the Aerosmith.
No.
That's a different. You're going in a different field.
Going a little cold. This has nothing to do with music. The connection to Bertie was only the biologist part, not the music part.
Actually, this guy made a ton of money doing this other thing, which is what we remember him for. Oh, by the way, remember, that's a clue. He actually built a really lovely, if I'm not wrong, a aquarium plus a research center to study sharks. And he was responsible for an entire species of shark being studied and then being born and raised. So it's just a random fact. I genuinely love this guy a lot. Loved this guy a lot. That's another clue for you.
Yeah, so he's dead.
Yes, unfortunately. By the way, I'm just being so confident that I know the answer. It could be completely wrong.
Here's the thing, because I do know this question, but I have only a certain superficial knowledge. So when you are giving me these deep cuts into this person, I'm literally furiously Googling. I'm like, okay, I hope this is the right person, and I think you're on the right track. I don't think you have anything to worry over there.
I was so sure this was going to be a member of a band. Because you were asking the question with Bertie, and I was like, oh, okay, so musician and scientist. And there were quite a few, though.
I think I'll just once again reiterate something I'd mentioned. I think that might help.
Okay.
Him working, and I mentioned this specifically, him working at a fast food seafood restaurant in Maine. A seafood restaurant specifically.
Wait, SpongeBob SquarePants?
Hey, lovely. That's the answer. Well done, well done, well done.
It finally clicked. Yeah.
Yes.
It took me a little bit of time, but yeah, thank you. I got there.
So they stopped SpongeBob some time back, so he's technically dead. Apparently, he died of mutation.
Yeah.
Right, right. So he was also interested in art all along, and he was pretty good at it in his school days as well. He minored in art in school, and in fact, a lot of his teachers had told him, "Why don't you just paint fishes?" Is what the advice was, and he initially thought that was a ridiculous idea, and he went on to, I guess, do that in a different tangent, but yes, something similar.
By a random fact, there's an actual mushroom that's found in Malaysia which looks like SpongeBob SquarePants. Its scientific name is Spongiforma squarepantsii.
This is a lovely piece of trivia.
Oh, nice. Is it an edible mushroom by any chance?
We don't know yet. They discovered it only 2 years back.
Oh, nice.
If you start seeing SpongeBob SquarePants, then
Okay. Before I hand over the baton back to Bertie, I only realized in the introduction that he's not just a biologist, he's a molecular biologist. This is not the best question, so I'm just going to add it as an addendum.
Oh, nice.
And I believe Bertie would probably crack this. James Watson is an American molecular biologist.
Yeah.
And also a Nobel Prize winner.
Yes.
1953.
What is he famous for being the first Nobel Prize winner to do?
Do not give credit to a person who actually did the job.
Yes.
Rosalind Franklin.
Yeah.
A lot of Nobel Prize winners do that, I believe. I don't think he'd be the first one to do it.
All of them
do it. That's a prerequisite to winning the Nobel Prize.
She practically did everything, and they just kind of polished it and presented it. Her X-ray crystallography was the first, I think, to actually get this correct.
Yeah. Photograph 51. Yeah, that was the name of the photo. I would say because he's an American, he forgot to bow to the king. I think that's important.
No.
Was that what he did?
No.
Oh, okay. No, because anybody goes to get the Nobel Prize, it's King Gustav. You have to bow to the king when you go to get the Nobel Prize. And there are few people who forgot to do it. All of them are Americans. Okay, interesting. Okay. Was he the first person, I don't know, to take the money as a check instead of cash or something nonsense?
No. I'd say he wanted to raise funds to support scientific research.
Oh, dude, he sold his Nobel Prize. He put it up. He auctioned it. Nonsense. Yeah.
He was the first living Nobel recipient to auction his medal for a cool $4.1 million.
Wow.
4 times the price of what he got. Yeah.
He was the first living Nobel recipient to auction a medal. The medal was actually later returned to Watson by the purchaser, Alisher Usmanov, who was a Russian oligarch. So a little bit of a shady gray area there.
I have a feeling it's some shady dealing, bro. I'll give you my medal. He's like, no, give me my football team. Some random shit went out.
Well, on paper, he's the first one to have done that. Okay.
Oh, you can say shit about Watson. You have a biologist here. I can confirm any shady thing that's there. He's done it.
All right. Okay. Then we are in the clear there. Okay. This was just a molecular biologist question for Bertie.
Thank you.
Handing it back to you.
Oh, okay. Since our man Vinny brought up Queen, let's do a Queen question. Okay.
Perfect.
So there's a song by Queen, which a lot of people know. Like, it's one of those things that everybody's like, I know this song.
Okay.
So when they first released the album, it did well. Then later on, that song started picking up. And everybody was like, okay, we got to re-record this now. So they brought Queen together and said, listen, the last one, that was a very early album. So some extra things we have to do, add some layers. Also, they re-recorded this song. Okay. And then they released it under Best of Queen. That album sold like hell. Everybody's like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever, 1976. Everybody buys it. Okay. Now, that album, huge. And everybody knows every song by heart. Then after that, because of that doing well, Queen was like, okay, why don't we remaster the first album and re-release it again? But that they don't re-record anything. They just remaster as it was. When that particular song comes up, there's a very specific line which everybody loves to sing along on a global stage. But if you have the original vinyl or the original album, the iconic voice of Freddie Mercury is silent. So here is my question. What song is this? And this Mandela Effect of this line is what line, which I'm sure all of you have sung, heard it, or whatever. If you have the original, it doesn't exist. Only in the remastered version, it exists. And that's the version that you all know.
I have my suspicions, but I
Go
bought
on,
my feet already. So Aditya, why don't you go first?
start putting out Queen songs.
This is Vineet's domain, but I will take a shot. Something that everybody sings that does make me think
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay, that's a good choice. I said everybody sings on a global stage. And I mean global stage as in literally global stage.
I was thinking We Will
We
Rock
Will
You.
Rock You was what I was going to say. Yeah, We Will Rock You would be my second guess.
Okay, so these two are songs you just randomly sing.
Yeah.
But this song is something that's sung at specific points in culture. People will be like, oh, sing a Queen song. Okay, we will rock you. No. This song.
We are the champions.
Yeah. So global stage. Now tell me what line misses from the original.
Of the world.
Exactly.
Oh.
He doesn't say off the world in the original.
Oh, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't say off the world in the original. I have the original vinyl. When everybody's like, off the world, I'm like, hey, hello? There is no off the world, because he doesn't say it. When they remastered it in the second edition for Best of Queen, for some reason, Freddie Mercury, in his act of genius, at the last decided to go off the world, because at that point of time they were the world's biggest rock band, and it was a bit of narcissistic self-expression of his ego. And everybody's like, okay, sounds good, we'll leave it in. But if you have the original album like I do, he never says off the world.
That's insane.
That's so nice.
That's so cool.
Go listen to both the versions. Oh, by the way, random. If you thought Freddie Mercury does this only once, no, he's done it again. But the next time it was even weirder. There's a song called One Vision from It's a Kind of Magic, the album. And in the end, it just keeps saying one vision, one vision, one vision. And it's supposed to fade out like that. Freddie Mercury had taken like 3 or 4 takes. And at the end of it, he was so hungry. So the last words he sang was fried chicken. And that stayed. And now by the time everybody had done the lyrics and it had gone out, so none of the lyrics have it. Only he says fried chicken. And they were like, okay, fine, leave it in the mix. So at the end, it's like fried chicken.
Oh boy.
Oh God. That reminds me of this video I saw recently. There was a song, A.R. Rahman song, Rabadi, Rabadi. So there's a trope that the she doesn't actually say Rabadi, she says robbery somewhere in the
Robbery. Ooh, do you want a follow-up question?
Yes, please.
Simple. Which band's bass guitarist played the iconic bass riff for Dil Se? You know the song Dil Se Re? Dil Se Re. You know that? Dun, 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 dun. That's a bass riff.
Yeah.
Which band's bass guitarist played it? I'll give you each 5. Okay, both of you. 5 for Vineet. And
I can give my 5 to Vineet also. But okay, let's try this.
No, just name bands.
I'm trying to remember who the bass guitarist was for A.R. Rahman super band Super Heavy. Is he part of that?
Nope, he's not.
He's not in Super Heavy. Okay.
No. Name bands. That's all. Name famous bands.
Okay.
I'm
going first. My first guess is Nirvana.
Nirvana. Very good. Nirvana's bass guitarist Milosevic. He's not in. Okay. Doc.
Name a band. Why am I blanking?
Don't think of A.R. Rahman and all. Just name a famous band. In India, everybody knows his band. That's it. You have 5 guesses, so go for a random guess.
Pressure. Okay.
See, Vineet has the pressure because he knows this stuff. I feel no pressure at all. I can name 4 more bands and I would have no pressure at all in doing that. Okay, Vineet, I'll help you out. You take it. I'm going to go and get the wrong answers out of the way. Because you said Indian band, I don't even know if Indian Ocean was around at that time.
No, not Indian bands. Not Indian band. Famous
okay,
India.
Fine, they're not Indian band.
Indian Ocean was around, and Rahul Ram is the bassist for Indian Ocean, who, by the way, is a toxicologist. Random fact for you.
Wow.
It's not an Indian band. It's a band famous in India.
Okay.
It's an international band, but everybody in India knows.
Then the next guess I will have to make is
Metallica.
Okay, Metallica. Metallica's bassist is Trujillo. Not him. Very nice.
Not him.
Okay. Or Jason Newsted, their very first bassist. Also not him.
Too early for Linkin Park, or is it?
Linkin Park, not him, not their bassist also, who's still playing, by the way, John. Okay.
Led Zeppelin.
Oh my God, one of the greatest bassists of all time, John Paul Jones. No, but it was not JPJ. Your audience are screaming certain names out at the podcast right now.
I'm trying to think of anybody who'd make sense for this time period.
There's somebody in both your lives who's like, bro, they're the best band ever, bro.
Bro, the best band ever. AC/DC.
Okay, AC/DC, great band, but very rock based. No.
Nickelback.
Famous in India. Very nice.
Okay.
But no, it was not Nickelback. You've mentioned the first band whose bassist I don't know the name of, by the way.
Famous in India, best band ever.
Genuinely the most famous band. Everybody, like, you know, somebody who's got a t-shirt, you know, somebody who talks about it.
The Eagles.
Hotel California, very nice. Schlitt, yeah, great. Wonderful singer, but no, it was not the Eagles bassist.
Is it again the time frame? I'm not sure. Aerosmith?
Wonderful band, and the bassist is Perry. No, Perry is a guitarist, but no. Now both of you have one guess each, and I can tell you this band's name is bigger than all the bands you've ever mentioned.
How is it possible? How have we missed out?
U2.
Great band, fantastic bassist, and your 5 options are out.
Somebody bigger than these guys? That would make
Yeah.
sense.
In India.
Famous in India.
100%. Adam Clayton is a bassist for U2, by the way.
But who's bigger than, like...
Yeah, bigger, much bigger. And you know the guy who likes his band is going to be talking like this. Bro, what a band, bro. You have one more guess. Aditya.
The Rolling Stones?
The Rolling Stones is your last guess, and it's not Evans. We are done. Are you ready for the reveal? Do I get points?
Yeah. As many points as you want.
Please tell me you heard of a band called Pink Floyd.
You're kidding me.
Are you
Pink Floyd?
Pink Floyd?
Oh no!
Yep. So Pink Floyd's bassist is Guy Pratt, who replaced Roger Waters, and he's played for more years as Pink Floyd's bassist than ever. And when A.R. Rahman was in Peter Gabriel's studio, he ran into Guy Pratt and said, bro...
Peter Gabriel as in Genesis Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, he was in Peter Gabriel's studio and he was recording for World Mission Project when Guy Pratt walked across and Peter said, do you know this is Guy Pratt? He's like, yeah, he's Pink Floyd's bassist. And by Guy Pratt, like, this is A.R. Rahman. He's like, yeah, I know. He's pretty big in the Indian scene. They're like, okay, both of you talk to each other. He's like, I'm doing a song called Dil Se. Would you like to play the bass? He's like, yeah. So Guy Pratt, the bassist of Pink Floyd, is a guy who played the tin, 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 tin. That's him. And not Keith Peters, who played the bass for every other song in that album.
Wait, is he credited on the album?
Yep, he is. And not only that, I had it confirmed by Guy himself. So I'm friends with Guy Pratt on Twitter. So I pinged him and said, hey, Guy, thank you for the great work. He's like, thanks, bro. It was so good. It was recording there.
Dude.
What is happening?
Floyd.
This episode is blowing my mind left, right, center. Oh my God.
This is not the original question. This was the follow-up question to the quick question.
This was such a great question. Wow.
I would hate to know what kind of question you'd ask when you actually prepared.
Yeah.
Okay, now come back to my statement. Isn't Pink Floyd bigger than all of this?
You can arguably say that. You can. One of the biggest.
Second, don't you all know one dude is like, bro, Pink Floyd is the best band, bro. Like everybody has a t-shirt, one of those Prism t-shirts, the Dark Side of the Moon, yeah.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Moon t-shirts. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, but that actually says more about the graphic artist than the band itself, to be fair.
Vineet has strong opinions about stuff like this. I must warn you. Vineet has very strong opinions.
Nice. I like it.
You know, as soon as you said Pink Floyd, both Vineet and I think we might have issues editing this later because we shouted into our mics. It's the first time in the 90th episode of this podcast called Are You Quizzing Me that I think both of us said, are you kidding me at the same time?
Nice. I am part of history. I am part of lore now.
I love these small things where this piece of trivia about people who come on and play a small part in music. And many of the times they're uncredited, like Eric Clapton did for the Beatles.
While my guitar gently weeps.
Van Halen did it for Michael Jackson. Beat it. The Black Eyed Peas. Where is the love? The chorus is not sung by Fergie. Justin Timberlake. Yeah. So I like these kind of things. And I'm just wondering how Dil Se, one of my favorite albums, I had the old cassette and I used to listen to that obsessively. And I can't remember seeing this at all.
There you go. Today, after so many years, there's this funda about this and that you learn.
So this is why I love trivia. You can never say that, I know everything.
Vineet and I have spoken about doing like a super cut off episodes with the same theme. And we have done Dil Se questions, I believe, like 2 or 3 times. Like we've done Chaya Chaya at least definitely twice as featured. So we can actually do a super cut of
Okay,
just.
I'm going to guess the answer. World Heritage Sites, UNESCO. Was
Oh,
that the answer?
no. There we go. We have another question right there.
We have another one. There are some people like Teddy Roosevelt appears on our podcast every 10 episodes or so.
Uh,
The Beatles, I've asked at least 3-4 questions about the Beatles.
nice.
Aditya asked another 3-4 questions about the Beatles, some of which I embarrassingly flubbed.
Nice. Okay, I'm glad to be part of this now. Who do I pass the baton to now?
I believe it's Vineet.
It's my turn. Okay. Let me see if I can bring a little wow back to you. The origins of X can be traced back to the most ancient civilizations. X is mentioned in the Bible, and historians believe that it originated in Sumeria. Through migration, it was introduced to Persia and India, and subsequently to Greece and Rome. In fact, a Roman historian of the first century wrote that the Emperor Nero knew how to use it. Though X is currently associated with one country in the minds of almost everybody on Earth, versions of X still exist in many other countries, including India. Namely, I'll give you one, the second I'm holding out as a clue. It's called the Mashak in North India. What am I talking about?
You said use it, right? Nero knew how to use it allegedly.
Yes, a very carefully worded question is what I would say.
Okay, so something which we wouldn't normally associate with olden times. That's what you're trying to say. It's something that we all.
It's very old, but currently everybody associates it with one country. Like you see this, it immediately evokes the images of one particular country.
Because you said the word use, I'm not so sure. But initially I was like pyramids, because pyramids have been there in multiple cultures, multiple countries.
Yeah, but Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt.
I mean, you associate Egypt sir, immediately with pyramids.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, but
It doesn't make sense with the word use anyways. Nero wouldn't know how to use pyramids.
yeah, as I mentioned, this is mentioned in the Bible. It originated in Sumeria, which is with present day Israel and Jordan, that area.
Is it something like an abacus?
No, not an abacus.
Because we all think only Chinese guys use it, but okay.
Yeah. No, that's smart answer. But no, like I said, I've said the word use, but maybe I'll give a clue and
Okay.
replace the word use with play.
Oh, so it's an instrument. The lyre?
No, not the line.
Oh, you're supposed to play the fiddle. Oh yeah, Nero supposedly play the fiddle. So
I think it's a urban legend from those days, but he never actually played the fiddle while Rome burnt. He might have played it just before or after, but apparently not while it was burning.
So it's an instrument which, as soon as you see it, you think of a particular country.
Exactly.
Oh, nice. Like if you say accordion, then French music, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was thinking something very like specific, like a tabla it would be very hard to think of anything beyond India.
Okay, so I'm going to give you one more clue. So I said the Mashak in North India, right? There are two different versions in South India. One I'm going to tell you now, and the second I'm going to leave because the second is a Tamil one, so I'm going to keep that as the last clue. It's the Titti. The Titti in South India or the Mashak in North India. Well, there's one that's very specific to Tamil Nadu, which I'm going to keep as the last clue.
Okay. Dude, it still sounds like something that's on the percussion front. So, Titti.
Think back to the time I told you that it
Yeah,
originated.
Sumerians.
Is flute something you associate only with India though? I don't know. I don't think so.
No. Pan flutes are Greek, but then, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm guessing the Tamil word will be a giveaway for me.
I don't know it's a giveaway because I'm not that conversant in Tamil. I can understand Tamil and watch Rajnikant and Vijay movies. But
If you tell me the name, then you're saying that I would know.
knowing you might. If I told it to the average Tamil person, they might not know. But you might.
Okay. Do we have the right family of instruments? Is it percussion by any chance?
It's not percussion.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, I'll give you one extra clue before you giving the name in Tamil. If you're somebody who studied in a very traditional Indian school with a kind of British hangover, you probably may have seen this.
Oh, it's a bagpipe.
It's a bagpipe.
Oh, wow. And we think of Scotland.
Yeah, we think of Scotland.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
There is a version of a bagpipe, I'm told, in Tamil Nadu called the Sruti Upanga.
Upanga. Yeah. Okay, fine. It's basically a bag with air, and then it has two drones in it. So the drones make that sound. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, Shruti Upanga is
Nice.
meaning the drone, the note, the Shruti of the note. Like
Yeah.
if it's a sa pa sa, the sa just keeps going. Interesting. I did not know this, that the bagpipes come in the Bible. This I gotta see. This is
Yeah.
okay.
So apparently X is mentioned in the Bible. The thing is, people believe that there are certain things which have been passed down for many, many thousands of years because of the simplicity and the basic concept behind it. So the first ever humans who had civilization, we were herders, and then we started to have agriculture. So for a shepherd, what do they have? They have reeds, they have sheepskins
The
available
stomach
to
of a sheep, which is what the original bagpipe was made from.
So that's why it's one of the older instruments, right? So the oldest instruments are all percussion and wind instruments, because usually people either bang on something and make a noise, or they blow through something and make a noise.
Correct.
String instruments came much later. Similarly, if I'm not mistaken, do you know which is the oldest form of dance? Like we would say, like an organized form. Not we wouldn't call it a classical dance form today, but it's the oldest continuously used or continuously played for dance
Has to
form.
be some funeral dance or something like the Dapan Guthu, which because we've been dancing at people's death all the time.
No, not the Dapanguta. But it's a little surprising to me when I heard it. Then I was like, why am I surprised? It makes sense.
This is an Indian dance or like any dance?
No. I'm talking Middle Eastern, very, very old.
Wedding dances are there.
It is danced at weddings. That's the biggest clue. That
Oh.
particular form is danced at weddings.
It has to be some group thing where everybody holds hand.
It's the belly dance. What we consider is the kind of belly dance is one of the oldest forms of dance.
Very cool.
Very nice. I like it.
Arab weddings, like they have segregated areas for women and areas for men. And among women, this is what still goes on in the Middle Eastern countries. There are a lot of belly dancing going. It's one of the oldest forms of dance. So the titi and the mashak are Indian versions of the bagpipe.
Cool question.
Nice. Thank you, Doc. Very nice.
And the clue that I gave with the British hangover schools, because I had it my school as well, we had a marching band.
Oh, yeah.
And you needed good lung capacity to play one of those bagpipes. And you needed to be tall because you tended to be towards the back.
Excellent. Is it now me?
Yes, it is back to you.
So, since you brought up bagpipes and Scotland, very short, very small question. What is the national animal of Scotland and why?
Oh, I know this.
Oh, I don't know the why, but I can tell you what it is.
Okay, both of you. 3, 2, 1, go.
Unicorn.
Yes, it is the unicorn. Now figure out why.
Because the Scots are weird.
I want to say something like this because I've heard this in other places, other scenarios where you open it up as a contest to kids and then some kid selects it and they have like a contest and like, a kid enters it or something.
You would think, right? No, this was an actual well thought out decision by the government of Scotland. Okay. Can I give you a clue?
Okay.
Please do.
Who do the Scots hate?
The English. Oh, okay. The English lion can be killed by a unicorn.
Perfect. Full points to you. So, historically, the only animal that can kill a lion has always been in lore about mythology is about the unicorn. So, when the Brits said the lion is our herald and lion is going to be logo, Scots like, okay, you know what? We'll make the unicorn our national animal. Why? Because it can kill the lion. People are like, but it doesn't exist. Oh, yeah? We don't care. We're going to have it. But very, very interestingly, in 2009 or something, they had a discovery in the highlands of Scotland where they discovered the fossil of an ancient mammal which had a single big horn in the front.
Oh.
Yeah. So there was something like a unicorn that did exist on the highlands, which is this coincidence, but it's just brilliant.
There are marine mammals with horns. The narwhal, yeah.
Nice. There you go, guys. Well done.
Nice.
Hopefully, when they gain independence, obviously, after all this they do, then they will be needing to start a reserve forest for the national animal. Let's see what they do then.
Oh, exciting times indeed. Okay, cool. Well, since we are in Europe, I am going to take that as a cue for my next question.
Oh, segue.
As good a segue as I can manage, because I have my questions pre-planned. Okay. I'm pretty sure both of you, the smart people that you are, have heard of reductio ad Hitlerum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, basically every argument evolves into Hitler.
Yeah, at some point.
It's basically the idea that you can invalidate someone else's argument on the basis that the same idea was promoted or practiced by Adolf Hitler or the Nazi party or whatever, comparing them to the Nazi party. And as you might be able to smart enough to figure out the fact that sometimes that holds water, but very often it doesn't. It's like, oh, you know who else was vegetarian? Hitler was vegetarian. So stuff like that. So it's an association fallacy. The question is, in a very similar vein, before the Second World War, who was used as a stand-in for just reducing an argument to this kind of stupid conclusion, especially in Western countries?
I don't know about this, but I'm just going to say it has to be some idiotic Greek guy.
So, no, it's not a Greek guy. It's not a Greek guy, though not too far,
Ooh.
What I'm thinking is you're saying that this is somebody prior, so it has to be somebody universally hated in the Western world, right?
Yes.
And you said just prior to the Second World War. So the only person who comes to mind first is Napoleon.
Okay, so here's what I have to say. And Napoleon, I don't know if he's universally hated. Like, I don't know if the French hate Napoleon.
No, not the French. Everybody else except the French.
Like, you don't count the French. Okay, no. So I'll give you what else. And I didn't mean just before the war. I just meant like before Hitler came onto the scene, who was a stand-in. That's what I meant. So this was somebody who was used during the 18th, 19th and early 20th century.
My second guess is going to be Julius Caesar.
No, it wasn't Caesar. Again, these might have been used at some point, but I'm asking for the most common one that was used. The devil was obviously one of the choices. I guess the devil still is in vogue, but devil is not the answer here.
It's not. That's a very general.
Yeah, I'm looking for a specific person.
You said 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries,
So
right?
from 16th century.
Probably, yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, was it Genghis Khan?
Not Genghis Khan, no.
No, I think for Europe it will be more of Attila.
Genghis Khan, Judas.
He need not be in the military thing at all. Judas has nothing to do with the military. He's a guy who has a bad rep.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, somebody who's got a very bad rep.
That can cover a lot of people. Vlad Dracula?
No, not Dracula.
No, Drac came after the 8. Yeah, okay.
No, the original guy, the Vlad the Impaler.
Is that person fictional or actually real?
Okay, so we are talking about a biblical figure in this case.
Okay.
And as is the case with biblical figures, they're inspired by real life people, but
this has to be Pontius Pilate, I guess.
Not Pontius Pilate. No.
The Herod.
No, it's not the Herod either.
We already mentioned Judas, right?
Judas I already mentioned, yeah.
I mean, he's the biggest bad guy there other than the devil. So who else? Cain has a bad rep. The brother who killed his own brother.
Okay. So this is somebody mentioned in the book of Exodus.
Ramses.
Oh, Exodus has to be like the Pharaoh.
Yeah, Ramses.
Exactly. We are talking about the Pharaoh. So the Pharaoh of the book of Exodus was commonly considered the most villainous person in history and was used as a comparison very often. In fact, during the American Civil War, some Confederates called Lincoln a modern Pharaoh. That's the level of villainy that the Pharaoh was associated with. Another one which was commonly used, but is only in American context, was King George III.
Yeah.
The bad guy, yeah.
King George III was often vilified in the United States.
Nice, okay.
King George was actually used as a comparison as recently as 1992 by Pat Buchanan when referring to President George H.W. Bush. He called him King George III. I was like, there have been more examples since then. You can think of something more recent.
This is my history book. That's all I know.
So that brings me to the end of my question. And those are some interesting segues. I probably didn't consider as many villains in history as you guys threw out there.
Great question, Adi. Great question. I think that's all the time we have for our regular questions, but never fear, Berty is going to be back for our next episode as well. So before we wrap up for this 90th episode, there is the small matter of the audience question that I asked at the beginning of today's episode. As in, which is the largest toy distributor in the world? Berty, Aditya, do you have any ideas as to what the answer could be?
I mean, toy distributor, because it's different from toy maker, right? So I was thought of Lego, but then they make a lot of toys, but they don't distribute. So
I was thinking it has to be some sort of like a UN body UNICEF, perhaps.
Very, very good guess, Aditya, but unfortunately you're wrong.
I have only one answer, and I will not take any other answer for this. Santa Claus.
Oh,
He gives it to every kid on the planet. Every kid on the planet.
yes, but also no. So, okay. Any other guesses, Adi?
I'm guessing it has to be some sort of NGO because probably done at a large enough scale. Make a Wish Foundation would probably not be big enough.
Ooh, nice.
This is international.
The WHO?
Nope.
When they're reaching out to kids, I guess? No.
No.
Oh, McDonald's.
Yes,
McDonald's.
it is McDonald's.
Oh, I knew this answer. Great crack.
I'll tell you why. Random fact from my life. McDonald's at one point of time had a Batman and Beyond character which goes out to the kids' meal.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in Chennai. I was in the mall and I saw the McDonald's had the Batman and Beyond, specifically the one with the blue cape, which I didn't have.
Okay.
To be honest, I was not a kid at that point of time. I was very much an adult. I stood in line. I saw that thing. I was like, I want it. Right? And I was nice boy. I was standing in the line. And behind me was this kid who was being very annoying to his mom. He was like, Mama, I want Batman. I want Batman. I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Dude, try getting in front of me of the line. Okay. And I was like, excuse me, go back. Right? I go up and I say, I want the kids' meals. And they're like, oh, for your child? Nope, for me. Right? And I get it. Now, here's the point. I didn't know this, but they had only one of those kids' meals.
Oh my God.
I took it. Okay. And I said, thank you. And then I moved to the side, paid for it. Kid and the mom comes. Kid asks for a Happy Meal. They give him a Happy Meal, but it had some random penguin or something like that. He's like, no, I want that. And they're like, no, sir, that was the last one. He's gone. Okay. And his mom was like, sir? I was like, you want the burger? Take the burger. They're like, no, we want the toy. I'm like, no way. Bye, loser. And I went off.
My God. You're like the villain from Jingle All the Way.
Can I just say, Bertie, this is exactly how supervillains are made, okay?
That kid is coming back with a death ray.
Yeah, I'm a molecular biologist. I'm just one accident away from becoming one of those doctors who are the bad guys in all the Marvel movies. All the bad guys are doctors. Have you seen this? Every doctor other than Dr. Strange is a bad guy.
They're always doctors or they're British.
I am Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory with one small accident away from going, okay, this world is going to end. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yes, I get points for McDonald's. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, nice. Very nice crack. So we have a tradition here, Bertie, of giving pop culture recommendations. Yeah. So what are your recommendations for our audience? Any particular recommendations you want to give? Books, podcasts, music, anything?
Okay, shall I give podcast? If you have lots of time, I mean lots of time, and you are ready to go through like 500 episodes, there's a lovely podcast called No Such Thing as a Fish.
Fish.
We have recommended it in the past.
You have already recommended it?
Yeah, but it's okay. It's a double recommendation. We have
matter.
recommended, but it's a double recommendation.
If you've already recommended it, then I'm going to swing and say there is also something by the same guys where they talk about sport, and it's called No Such Thing as a Sport, or it's something about the sports.
Okay.
So it's done by Anna and James of No Such Thing as a Fish. It's the same format, but it's great because they give random facts about sports. And I, as a quizzer, when I grew up, sport was not my domain. It was my quiz partner was his domain. But now I'm getting better because of this podcast.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's a great. It started just now. There are about 8 episodes out. And the best part of the podcast is halfway through the episode, they start playing the sport.
It's called Quite a Good Sport. It's hosted by
Quite a
James
Good Sport.
Harkin and Anna Pazanski.
Nice.
No Such Thing as a Fish, by the way, shows up as a host recommendation if you go to Spotify and you go to our podcast.
Yeah.
Because both of us have recommended it and we both love the show.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. That's my recommendation for today.
Pretty cool.
Adi.
I'm going to keep it simple. I just watched a film yesterday and I'm going to recommend it. It's called The Big Sick. I really enjoyed it. I had heard of it a fair bit. And somehow I was like, okay, I'll get around to it at some point. Yesterday was one of those days. And I watched it and
Nice.
I really enjoyed it. Kumal Nanjiani's own real life story has inspired this. So it's pretty much autobiographical in that way. And pretty decent acting, some lovely dialogue, good banter, well made film. Check it out. And Holly Hunter, shout out to her in that movie.
Yeah.
Does a phenomenal job as the mother of the female protagonist. I'll leave it at that. Vineet.
So my recommendation is I can't imagine why I've not recommended this before because I'm right now watching it for like the second or third time. Is the show Billions. Damian Lewis is one of my favorite actors. I loved him in the show Life, which was unfairly cancelled after 2 seasons. And he was also the protagonist play in Band of Brothers. He's one of my favorite actors, and then he has a powerhouse performance, which is equally matched by Paul Giamatti. 7 seasons of Billions. So go watch it. It's available on Disney Hotstar. So that's also my recommendation for this week. That's all the time we have for this episode. I want to thank Bertie for coming on the show. And again, that's not a final thank you. He is coming back for one more episode. So you're not rid of him yet. Thank you all for listening in. We hope you enjoyed the show and learned something new. We certainly did. If you liked what you heard, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform, wherever you get your podcast. It helps us reach a wider audience, allows more people to discover and enjoy the show. Take a few seconds off to give us a 5-star review and follow us. We'd also love to hear from you, feedback, suggestions, even trivia. If there are questions that you want asked on the show, send us an email at areyouquizzingme@gmail.com with the name of the quizmaster in the subject line. You can reach us on Instagram at areyouquizzingme. We have a community on Reddit with the subreddit r/areyouquizzingme. And we appreciate your support and look forward to sharing more episodes with you in the future. Bertie, any words before we wrap up this episode? Anything you want to plug? Any shows you're hosting or any gigs you're going to be
Yeah,
at?
absolutely. Fantastic podcast called Are You Quizzing Me? Guys, go follow. And also, if you heard the first bit of this episode, you also know that you can randomly ping Quizmasters on Instagram. And if you mention the secret word quiz, they will do anything to drop everything and say, okay, I want to be part of this podcast. So good luck to you guys.
Okay.
That is perfect. So thank you so much, Bertie, for joining us. And as Vineet mentioned, he'll be back for our next episode as well. So see you guys next week.
Bye.